Howdy guys and gals, Mikey V here. Just gonna check the enders real quick. There's 1965. Some herons on that one. Can't tell with that one. Hey Jem, hey David. What should I start with? Should I start with the quarters or should I start with the gifts from my dad? Y'all have already seen the brittle star fossil. Start with the gifts. All right, cool. I can do that. It's a one new penny from the UK. Let me get my jeweler's loop. Good morning, Alistair. It's afternoon here. This is a 1979. That's cool. It's an old five pence. The new pencil is in 1979. It's an old 5 pence. Trying to see what the date on it is. Elizabeth II. 1990, so it's not that old. Here's a 1999. Five pence. Here's a 1988. 1 pence. One new penny. I don't care if it's common, it's still cool. And it's a gift from my dad, so I'll always treasure it. It's a halfpenny from 1957. Young Elizabeth on it. Here's another halfpenny. George V, I think. Yeah, George V. It's from 1928. It's got Britannia on one side. And then George V on the other. It's a large 5 pence. From 1969. 5 new pence. Here's a George VI. It's a 1942. It's got a little bird on the back. It's a farthing. 1942 farthing. Hey, Andrew Cooper. Are the large 5 pence not common? There's another farthing from 1945. George VI. Australia, 1968. It's got a duck-billed platypus on the back. It's a 20-cent piece. Here's a bag of bicentennial quarters. I'm not gonna... These are nothing but bicentennial quarters. I'm not going to go through the bicentennial quarters just because there's not really much to see there. Say Canadian centennial cent, otherwise known as a bird cent to most of us that do coin roll hunting. It's a rock dove. If it'll focus, showing Queen Elizabeth. Canadian penny from 1963. Young head Elizabeth. That's cool. Another rock dove centennial. Oh, the large 5 pence, huh? Here's a George V Canadian penny. Trying to see a date on here. 1932. It's another rock dove scent. Canadian Centennial. I really need to get a folder for Canadian scents. Here's a Canadian war nickel. It's copper, plated in chrome, 1944. It's another Canadian war nickel, 1945. Notice how it's got the V for victory in it. George the Sixth. $1936 Canadian 1 cent. There we go. There's its focusing. King George V on there. $1961 Canadian 1 cent. I get these pretty often in my hunts. Another rock dove, Canadian Centennial. A more modern Canadian scent, in really good shape. It's 2006. I'll probably put these in the bag that I have my Canadian scents in. There's a 1932 Canadian scent. George V on it. And finally, out of that bag, the best for last. So a really worn Elizabeth II. Canadian Centennial Dime. This is silver. Also known as a fish scale. First thing out of the bag, the next bag. It's an off-center, broad-struck 1999 Philadelphia. It's my first error nickel. That's really cool. How cool would it be to find one of those in a hunt? Let's see what else we've got in here. Ooh. It's a 1909 VDB. I wonder if Dad would be mad if I took this out of the flip and put it in my book to fill a spot. He said I could take the buffalo nickels out of the flips. So 1909 VDB. He said I could take the Indian head pennies out of the flips to put into a book as well. So here's an 1898 Indian head penny. It's another 1898 Indian head penny. It's an 1893 Indian head penny. Ooh, an 1863 Indian head penny. An 1887 Indian head penny. $1917 buffalo nickel. See if I need a 1917. I do in fact need a 1917. I'll have to make another video out of putting these in the folder because it's going to be a pain in the butt to get these out of the flip. This is 1917. I need that for the folder. It's a 1928S. I think I need that for the folder. Yep. Only 6.9 million of those made. There's another one that I need for the folder. It's an 1881 Indian head cent. A 1930 S buffalo head nickel. Only 5.4 million made of those. I need that for the folder. There was a bag inside the bag. Unfortunately, the webcam kills my laptop. Even with the battery taken out, the webcam kills my laptop. It's a 1924 Denver. See if I need that. I do. There's only 5.3 million of those made. It's a 1918. Yeah, it's my laptop. The laptop sucks. I need a new one. 1918. I don't know how well you can see this. I'll just put that in upside down so y'all can see it go in the book. There's a 1935. Philly. I already have a 1935 Philly in there, so I don't need that. That can go with my bag of Indian head nickels. So 1936. I already have a 1936. So again, that can go in the bag of my Buffalo nickels. A 1923 San Francisco. Only 6.1 million of those made. I need that for the book. The 1921, 10.7 million made. I need that for the book. And a 1919 Denver, only 8 million of those made. I need that for the book as well. It's going to be a long time before I complete a Buffalo nickel book. What else have we got in here? Bicentennial Eisenhower dollar, I think, or is, no, it's just a 1972. $1972 Denver Eisenhower dollar. Now, if this had come from any other source, this would have just been spending money for me. But since it's coming from my dad, I'm going to hang on to it. So 1972 Kennedy half. I'll hang on to that as well. So 1972 Eisenhower dollar. Hang on to that, even though it's not silver. So 1974. Bicentennial. Another 1972 Ike, and another 1972 Ike. Both clad. All of this that I'm showing right now is just spending money, but since it's from my dad, I'm not going to spend it. Bicentennial half. 1971 half. An oddly dark 1984 dime. Uh, 1979 Susan B. Anthony. Very cool. The moon on the eagle. Eagle on the moon with the earth in the background. So 1951 wheat cent. That's just going to go in my bag of Wheaties. General George Washington's gold dollar coin. A 1999 Susan B. Anthony. Last year of issue on these. These are actually worth a little bit more than face. One yard. What's a yard, Jem? Really beat up 1943 Philly steel cent. Another bicentennial half dollar. Sacagawea dollar from 2000. A wheat cent from 1956. That'll just go in my bag of Wheaties. $1937 wheat cent. Excuse me for a second. Gotta grab my book and see if I need it. I do not need a 1937 Wheatie, unfortunately. So that'll go in my bag of Wheaties. 1969 Canadian cent. That'll go in my bag of Canadian cents. 2004 nickel. I'll hang on to that. And a 1953 Denver Wheatie. That'll go in my bag of Wheaties as well. Actually, all these are just going to stay in this box. So that's it for the gifts from Dad. One silver coin, which is really cool. And a bunch of buffalo nickels, which are going to be going into the folder. Wish I had a staple extractor. All right, on to the quarters. I'm gonna go get my recycling bin real quick for these wrappers. Sorry, Normal, you're not getting anything right now. Jem, you still here? (1977) Idaho. Ozark Riverways. Utah. Kentucky. Nebraska. Ozark Riverways. South Dakota. Harper's Ferry. Iowa. Pictured Rocks. (1981) Block Island. (1986) White Mountain. Wisconsin. No Extra Leaf. (1987). Is anybody still here? Says one person on my end. Concurrent viewers 1, likes 5. Alaska. No Extra Claw. (1987). Once I've got a better laptop, I'll be able to use my my webcam and my microscope to be able to see these better. New Mexico, 1972. Ellis Island, 1986. Harper's Ferry, Yosemite, Ohio, 1989. Delaware, 1982. 1979. 1996. Really dirty Vermont. Indiana, 1967. New Jersey, New York, 1973. Indiana, 1987. And Bombay Hook. There's a really shiny one. It's a really nice looking block island. $19.95. Really dirty Kentucky. 1980. Oh yeah, there was also a tube of Indian head pennies. I have no idea what the dates are on that, but I'm gonna get an Indian head penny book and put those in there. Theodore Roosevelt. Harper's Ferry. Georgia. District of Columbia. 1994. 1969. $1982. Harper's Ferry, Ohio, Cumberland Gap, South Dakota, (1985), New Hampshire, Perry's Victory, Everglades, really junked up 1970. How's everybody doing today? 1987. Oklahoma. New York. (1974). Illinois. 1987. 1997. 1989. 1995. Indiana, South Carolina, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, no extra leaf, (1992), Mississippi, Kisatchie, 1965, 1 year off. New Jersey, another 1965. Hawaii, U.S. Virgin Islands, Fort Moultrie, 1969, 1978, Washington, Saratoga, Wisconsin, no extra leaf. That looks burnt. Alabama, Pennsylvania. 1981. 1986. Illinois. Effigy mounds. Oh, YOD, Year of Dragon. Okay. I get that now. 1997. 1983. Georgia. 1982. Homestead. Cumberland Island. 1967. 1991. Apostle Islands. 1981. Arkansas. George Rogers Clark. 1978. Hot Springs. That's a new one, at least for me. 1985. South Carolina. 1994. 1989. Sorry if this is boring. I notice nobody's chatting. 1989. Vermont. 1995. Georgia. New Jersey. Texas. Connecticut, one of my favorite designs. Fort McHenry. Down to one person. That's okay, I'm still having fun, even if y'all aren't. 1998. 1992. 1977. Half dollars are probably more fun to hunt, at least for a live stream. 1967. 1996. Tennessee. 1997. Ozark Riverways. 1983. Homestead. Maryland. Apostle Island. Minnesota. How's everybody doing today? I see 2 people in the stream. Utah, down to 1. 5 likes. Cumberland Island. Ozark Riverways. (1974). New Jersey. (1970). How's everybody doing today? Louisiana. (1980). Back down to 1 person. Oregon. I guess I really shouldn't pay attention to how many people are here. I should just continue having fun the way I am. 1996. Maryland. 1988. 1996. Again, sorry if this is boring, but this is fun for me. New York. Effigy mounds. 1985. 1967. 1965. 1 year off. 1990. Nebraska. Florida. It's a fun state. 1986. 1972. Connecticut. 1981. Voyagers. Kisachi. That's a new one. Never seen that. Checo Couture. Apostle Islands. Virginia. (1990). Ozark Riverways. Utah. Massachusetts. 1974. Denali. effigy mounds, North Carolina, (1965), 1988, 1993, 1990, Georgia, Bombay Hook, Massachusetts, 1984, Michigan, 1984, Great Sand Dunes, Rhode Island, 1994, Ozark Riverways, 1989, 1985, 1997, 1966, 1989, 1965, 1989, Frederick Douglass. That's a cool one. I like that. (1993), 1974. It's a bit dirty. Wisconsin. No extra leaf. 1995. Louisiana. 1996. New Hampshire. 1996. Missouri. 1996. Delaware. 1990. 1990. Virginia. 1990. Shawnee. 1990. Apostle Islands. 1987. Blue Ridge Parkway. Think next time I do quarters, I'm not going to do this many. Shawnee. Idaho. 1965. Washington. South Carolina. Kisachi, El Yunk, $19.92, $19.98, North Carolina, Oregon, $19.90, Ozark Riverways, $19.96, Iowa, George Rogers Clark, Kentucky. Would be nice if I had some people to talk with. Blue Ridge Parkway, Kansas. Is it in God We Rust? Nope. Massachusetts, 1997, Ozark Riverways, 1985, Georgia, 1996, 1985, Maine, Iowa, Pictured Rocks, Florida, Kentucky, 1979. Nebraska, $1996, Montana, 1979, 1984, Theodore Roosevelt, Nebraska, Oklahoma, $1987, Apostle Islands, Indiana, Really Dirty Cumberland Gap, Blue Ridge Parkway, Arches, North Carolina, 1967. 1967. 1977. Florida. Howdy guys and gals, how's everybody doing today? New Mexico. Homestead. 1988. 1985. 1968. Florida. Tennessee. Connecticut. Tennessee. (1983), 1984, 1965, 1985, Arches, 1998, Maine, 1988, North Dakota, 1965, Ohio, and Oklahoma. (1983), Theodore Roosevelt, Blue Ridge Parkway, Bombay Hook, (1989), Ozark Riverways, 1994, 1967, 1997, Nebraska, Vermont, (1996), Louisiana, 1986, Effigy Mounds, Cumberland Gap, West Virginia, 1992, South Carolina, 1967, 1989, Virginia, 1998, Kentucky, effigy mounds, arches, South Carolina, 1990, 1987, 1997, Oklahoma, 1998, Michigan, 1996, Louisiana, Shawnee, 1969, Frederick Douglass, New York, and 1998 for that roll. Virginia, Maryland, Connecticut, Arizona. My lights are flickering. Lovely. (1967), South Carolina, Harper's Ferry, 1990, (1982), Indiana, 1970, North Dakota, North Carolina, Wisconsin, no extra leaf, 1991, New Hampshire, Cumberland Island, Michigan, Massachusetts, (1979), 1997 with some gunk on it. The most boring quarter ever, Wyoming. 1980, Indiana, Pennsylvania, Alaska, no extra claws, 1981, 1982, Apostle Islands, Idaho. I appreciate everybody for showing up today. It really does mean a lot to me. 1995, 1987. 1989. Apostle Islands. Massachusetts, really dirty. Vermont. Maryland. Hawaii. Oregon. $19.88. Connecticut, again, one of my favorite designs. $19.86, $19.89, $19.89, Utah, Kisatchie, Connecticut, $19.91, $19.96, $19.94, Florida, Mississippi, 1983, 1996, Montana, Ellis Island, 1985, that looks like it's been painted, Vermont, Bombay Hook, Mount Rushmore, Blue Ridge Parkway, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Ellis Island, really dirty Ellis Island, 1995, 1970, Arches, Texas, 1993, North Carolina. With quarters, I'm not really expecting to find anything, but you never know. Could find a West Point, 1996, Voyagers, 1995. If I'm really lucky, I could even find some silver. 1993. It does happen. 1993. Did you get David SCCUK's message, Jim? New Hampshire. Connecticut. $19.98. I do appreciate you letting the watch time accumulate. South Carolina. He says, could you email me on ds248150 at gmail.com, as I gotta go, just heading into my mom's. So he sent you his email for you to send to David SCC UK. I can repeat that for you if you need me to. Massachusetts, Missouri, 1974, Idaho, Utah, Delaware. It is DS. D as in David, S as in Steve, 248150 at gmail.com. Hawaii? Let me know if you need me to repeat it again. $19.95, $19.98, $19.98, New Hampshire, TS248150 at gmail.com. That is correct. Virginia, 1997. Cumberland Gap. Ooh, 2019 San Antonio missions. Is it going to be a West Point? Come on, West Point. Nope, it's a Denver. Just ask him what he wanted, and he'll respond. Yeah, you said his email again earlier about, but he couldn't get your email written down as he's out at the moment. And then you mentioned something about having coins. If you have any nice American coins to trade, I would not mind if you sent any of what I sent you to him. I mean, if you don't want to keep it, that's on you. 1998. If it helps you with the trade, go for it. 1974. There's another San Antonio missions. This one's got a bunch of gunk on it. It's a Denver. Two 2019s, and they're both been Denvers. South Carolina. New Mexico. What did you say you loved? I love that. Which one was that to? Effigy mounds? $19.96, $19.95, New Hampshire, Everglades. Oh, the shiny 2019. Yeah, it was nice, wasn't it? Alabama, Colorado. Colorado's got a cool design. 1973. 1992. I love helping other people as well, Jem. In fact, I have a penny for you. Saratoga. Had this shiny 1969 Denver that I'm going to send out to you. $1973, 1991, 1966, 1985, 1981, 1979, Ozark Riverways, 1993, Great Sand Dunes. That's a cool one. I like that. Here comes the most boring quarter ever. Wyoming. They didn't really do too much with their design. Ozark Riverways. Hi, Normal. 1966. Another Wyoming. Virginia. This one looks like it took a bath in something. Half of it's dirty and half of it's shiny. Ohio. 1987. Ozark Riverways. 1982. Vicksburg. That's another one I haven't seen before. 1967. $1987. Nevada. Mount Rushmore. 1988. Maine. Wisconsin. No extra leaf. New Jersey. $1994. Effigy mounds. Idaho. That's all right, Jem. 1965. California. Georgia. Indiana, Idaho, Pictured Rocks, Connecticut, Tennessee, Theodore Roosevelt, Ozark Riverways, first bicentennial of the night, also known as a drummer quarter. $1977. Bicentennial quarters are few and far between. They're harder to find than bicentennial half dollars. North Dakota. Hey, Vertical Stacker, how you doing? $1989. Saratoga. 1965. Alexa, stop. Sorry about that. 1967. 1996. 1997. Going through thousands of baseball cards. That sounds like fun. Second bicentennial of the night. Drummer quarter. 1974. 1983. Oklahoma. I'm going to show you something that you can't unsee. Tilt it this way and you've got a lanky-legged bird that's ready to fight somebody. Kentucky. $19.95. Hall of Fame cards and rookie cards, donating the rest to charity. Literally tens of thousands. Oh, wow. That's nice of you. 1996. 1971. New York. Another New York. 1968. South Carolina. Most boring quarter design ever. Wyoming. $19.98. Ohio. Ellis Island. Georgia. North Dakota. Thought you might get a kick out of the lanky bird. Homestead. Apostle Islands. 1991. I'm honestly surprised they didn't put a potato on the Idaho quarter. $19.80. 1966. Really beat up New Hampshire. New Jersey. Michigan. 1973. Alabama. Pennsylvania. Florida, there's a fun state. Maryland. I would have been so ticked. New Hampshire. Here's another somewhat boring one. Texas, just the outline of the state and a star. (1988). South Carolina. Virginia. California. Not surprised that they went with a prospector for California. 1974. Virginia. Great Sand Dunes. All your exes on Texas. I've got 3 more rolls after this one. 1998. It's nice to actually have somebody to talk with on here. For about a half an hour, it was just one person lurking in the background. Alright, man. Take it easy. 1973. Appreciate it. Thank you. Gotta get that watch time. Colorado. 1989. Apostle Island. 1988. Illinois. State I grew up in. Idaho. Michigan. Vermont. Bombay Hook. South Carolina. (1996), 1969, New York, 1988, 1998, another 1998, Colorado, I like that one, 1969, Kisachi, American Memorial Park, 2019. Is it going to be a West Point? It is a Denver. Womp womp. 1989, it looks like it's been painted. Kentucky. Another Kentucky. 1985. 1992. Everglades. 1989. 1994. Harper's Ferry. 1986. Illinois. Kansas. See if it's in God We Rust. Nope. $19.96. Maryland. Hawaii. Utah. New Mexico. $19.74. Here's a 2019 Lowell. It's a Philadelphia. Nebraska. Really beat up 1967. 1994. Gem, you still lurking? South Carolina. $19.91. South Dakota. New Jersey. $19.84. Denali. $19.91. New Mexico. $19.96. Tennessee. Illinois. Mount Rushmore. $19.72. Iowa. $19.70. $19.90. Tennessee. Kentucky. $19.92. $19.88. $19.84. Connecticut, one of my favorite designs. Maryland. $19.85. New Hampshire. Massachusetts. $19.65. Massachusetts. $19.67. Apostle Islands. Montana. Everglades. Tennessee. $19.98. Washington. New Hampshire. $19.81. Connecticut. Ellis Island. Really dirty Harper's Ferry. $19.85. Virginia. Kisachi. 1996. California. George Rogers Clark. That was a cool one. 1986. Indiana. 1988. $1997. Iowa. 1998. Maryland. Delaware. 1978. Ellis Island. 1971. 1983. New Hampshire. Third bicentennial of the stream. Drummer Quarter. 1973. Massachusetts. Maryland. 1994. 1967. Harper's Ferry. Montana. 1990. Virginia. 1966. 1990. 1974. 1996. Kisachi. Kentucky. Last roll. Let's hope for some last roll luck. Cross our fingers. Effigy mounds. $1996. Ozark Riverways. Hey, Hoover's Corgi and Coin, how you doing? Georgia. 1981. Appreciate you popping in. South Carolina. Effigy mounds. We're on the last roll. 1990. Ellis Island. Kansas. Not an In God We Rust error. I am doing fantastic, other than a slightly developing migraine. Shawnee. 1977. New York. Well, I appreciate you being here. Thank you. South Carolina. Kansas. Not an In God We Rust. 1974. 1996. Wisconsin. I get them every now and then. It's nothing I'm not used to. I just take a couple of a leave and hopefully it'll knock it out. Montana. Massachusetts. Take it easy, vertical stacker. Illinois, state I grew up in. 1991. 1965. 4th bicentennial of the live stream. Apostle Islands. Harper's Ferry. 1995. Bombay Hook. 1994. Kansas. Is it In God We Rust? It is not In God We Rust. Colorado. Texas. 1996. Kentucky. 1995. Cumberland Gap. Harper's Ferry. Ozark Riverways. And the last quarter of the night is a 1993. Who wants to see a science experiment? Those of you that know, this is Nicodate for use on nickels. Hey Pat, how you doing? You're just catching the tail end of the live stream. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dateless buffalo nickels that I can use the Nicodate on. Or I can make a video out of it. I'll leave it up to y'all whether I do that here on the live stream or if I just make a video out of it. Appreciate you stopping in, Pat. Alright, I'll make a video out of it. Alrighty, Mikey V, signing out.